Hey everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. Today we are going to dig into a carburetor that was returned to me for a core credit. Again, most of the carbs that I sell, I am willing to give a core credit for your old one that's not broken up. It's kind of like a starter going back to Napa. If the nose cone is busted off, it isn't worth anything. If your carburetor is damaged because you broke a adjustment needle or something like that, that's not worth as much. But this one that Steve sent back is complete, so let's go through it. That must be the mounting hardware. We really don't need to pull that up. This is from an XL12 1974 model, mid 1974, based on this serial tag. Okay, I don't know why my phone beeped at me. Actually wasn't anything there. Makes me happy. Okay, let's see if I can keep this thing centered up while I'm working on it and not get a bunch of crap out of frame, because I'm usually really good at getting a bunch of crap out of frame. This is a Walbro SDC-48. And I don't remember if this actually appears in the IPLs or not. This may be one of those that was short run enough that it doesn't. I honestly cannot remember. Honestly doesn't matter. The 48 is an absolutely acceptable carb for a XL12 and quite frankly a Super XL. 100% acceptable. So we're going to start on the fuel pump side here. There we go. Silly little game of tic-tac-toe there. All right. I wish I could remember all the details about this. Those appear to be soft and pliable. I see no problem there. But I know we'll find a problem in the carb somewhere, because I got the message that the replacement carb that I sent allowed his saw to start and run flawlessly. So we're just going to take this thing all the way apart. And we're going to see what we can see. A lot of folks probably hesitate to do that, and that's fine if you want to do one side at a time. Most of the time that won't get you into trouble, but there are a couple places that it can. Oh, there was fuel in here. Okay. There was also... Did that come out of the carb, or was that already on here? I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. I'll bet I know what's wrong with this thing already. Look at the height. Ah, come on, camera. Focus. See the height of the lever right there? That is way wanked, and the shape is completely wrong. That is no bueno. I'm going to guess that that is the problem. I mentioned these jets are closed all the way, so pressure testing would have been a little interesting. I always like to release the pressure, and it will not release if your jets are all the way closed like this. Okay. Just set those while I'm thinking about it. Let's go ahead and pull this out. Remember, you don't have to take this screw all the way out. Well, it came out anyway. You can just loosen it enough that you can slip the axle out. Spring, needle. That all looks good. Remember that you should be able to see all the way through from the needle seat through the screen. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you guys that, but I can tell you that I see light through there. So I know that passage is open. I have had carbs where that passage is not open. You also want to check your elbow. Now, since this had fuel in it, I know that's not bad, but I have seen them where they have crusted and dried completely shut. Whoop. Now, do I sacrifice a Welch plug to show you guys the high speed? And I think I do. I think I do. So, let me go find a drill bit. Alright, I'm going to use a 5/32 drill bit because I know that'll fit my nail setting tool that has been changed into a chainsaw tool. But the first thing you want to do is remove your high-speed needle. Now in this case, I don't believe there is interference, but it's not worth the risk. Some of these Welch, oh yes, there is. Look at that. See the depth there? You could drill right down and tag that adjustment needle, and then it becomes trash. Not a good thing. Now, the check valve under here is exactly the same as what's in a Walbro HDC, so you want to drill really stinking careful and try not to damage it, because I don't think there's anything wrong with this one. But if you're going to change it or check it, you've got to drill this out, and most kits come with a replacement plug. But I am still very much of the opinion, don't pull it unless you have a reason to. Now, it's a fairly soft aluminum, and my bit is walking all over the place here. And that's going to get... Nah, you piece of crap. Okay. I'm going to make sure you're not drilling into the side of the carb. And even as careful as I was being, I may have damaged the screen there. We'll see. So then, you take an appropriate tool. Again, mine's a nail setting tool that I have destroyed doing stuff like this. And you just pop it right out. Oh, and I didn't damage it. Nice. But there is a load of crap under there that I now need to blow out with the air hose. Come on. Focus. That's one thing. This camera does not like to focus anywhere near as well as the old one did on close-ups. But right there, the check valve is at the base, right in there. So I need to blow all the crap out of it. And once you blow all the crap out, checking it is just as simple as an HDC. Put a little piece of hose on there and give it the blow and suck test. Perfect. There is nothing wrong with that check valve, which most of the time there isn't going to be. But if you're one of those people that really has to put eyes on something, if your kit is even remotely close to correct, it's going to come with one. A new plug. So you can check if you want to. Me? No. Not until I have a reason to believe that there's something going on. And done. Now we can put this high-speed needle back in and readjust it. Alright, I'm going to dig out a new arm and see if I can get the damn camera to focus on the differences here. Oh yeah, there we go. You guys can see that one's flat, that one's all bent to beat hell. Not what you want to see. Could I bend that one back? Yes. Am I going to? No, I'm not, because the kits I buy have those and I don't use it most of the time. So most of the time I don't need to. Alright, so I'm going to start this screw about one turn, because I want to show you guys how I normally do it. I don't normally take it this far out, because it minimizes the risk of cross-threading it while you're restarting it in this soft carburetor body. So you can take your spring and put it back in place. If you have real problems with it, a tiny dab of grease will hold it down there. I don't do that very often. It's got to be a real pain in the neck before I will go that route. But load up your needle and your axle like this, with the axle pushed way out over here. And then when you set it on top of the spring, this end is super simple to push underneath the screw, and you just hold it down with your finger. And you don't have to fight the spring and see it go flying across the garage. Alright, now that is too low, that new arm. At least I sure think so. We're going to use our SDC tool. Alright. Too low. I can only assume that that is focused. You set this where it says HDC, set it right on the carb chamber floor there, and then if it's just touching or not quite touching, you're set right. This one's too low. So I'm going to bend it up ever so slightly. Got a little bit. This is about finesse in tiny little bits. Otherwise, you end up with a massive fuel leak. There we go. Much better. God, I sure hope that's focusing. I can run it across there and it's not moving that needle at all. But I also can see very little daylight between the tool and the needle. I very rarely use this, but they're common online, especially reproductions. This one's an original Walbro. It doesn't matter. They have all the markings on them, so you can decipher which one to use for what. Or you just get really good at seeing where they're supposed to be and you don't have to use it much. It's up to you. Alright. Now, if we were rebuilding this from scratch, we would go ahead and replace... Oh. Huh, you hear that? That is a little crunchy. Maybe we will be rebuilding this one from scratch. Why don't we? Why don't we just do that? And that way, when I advertise this one for sale, there's 100% zero doubt. But I still want to put this side together first. Now you will note that an SDC kit comes with two different fuel pump side gaskets, a thick and a thin. Okay, you ought to be able to see the difference in those. The thick one is for the machine or the steel plate. not the machined aluminum. Okay. Truthfully, I don't think there's anything wrong with that particular diaphragm. But we did uncover a pocket of Nastola under there. Okay. Now this is not coming apart or coming off as nicely as I would prefer. And there's definitely some nasty in there. And don't imitate my bad habits with the razor blade. Even I end up taking one to the hand every once in a while. Usually it's just a little nick, but someday I suppose my luck will run out. And I don't want you to develop my bad habits. Okay. That is just discoloring there. The rest of the gasket is gone. Now take a peek at your screen. That just pops in and out. This one is absolutely clean and perfect, but every reputable kit ought to come with one. There we go. See if I can get this right the first time. Look at that. So we're using our thick gasket here. And I always like to assemble this side first so that we can assemble the other side under pressure and know if we're going to have a leaking needle or seat or something else going on. And you guys might note that I didn't take the low-speed Welch plug out or that needle. Again, that's something you do if you need to do it only. And the only way that would become an issue is if fuel had dried up or somehow the debris had managed to get in there and it was plugging one of the openings into the carb throat. So this is like every other carb. On a small engine like this, you've got a series of holes drilled in the carb throat, and as the throttle plate opens up, 1, 2, 3, all three will become visible in here, and hopefully that's staying focused and you can see those 3 holes. Okay, so I can see they look open to me. Yes, I've been fooled by that before. So just for grins, because we're doing a carburetor video, I'm going to ask where the hell my there we go. I keep some strands of very tiny wire laying around. And basically what I did is take some, I don't know, some 16 gauge and strip it down and keep the strands. So what you can do is open the throttle plate and take your wire and just slide it in. And if you get no resistance, that area under the low speed Welch plug is almost certainly fine. This carb is fine. Its issue was that that arm being way out of whack. I can almost guarantee that with 100% certainty. Alright, now that we have that side assembled, let's do our first pressure test. Looks like, oh, this bulb is about shot again. Okay, wow. And then it starts to go down a little bit. So, my guess it would be that new thick gasket. Yep, that just needs to swell up with some fuel. I am not going to worry about that. I could take it off again and load it up with gasket sealant. But I'm not going to this time, because I don't think I need to. Alright, so you got to make sure that you slip. See how the diaphragm has the carve out in it right there for slipping into this inlet arm. You got to slip that in, and you're not going to do it without releasing pressure. And if your arm is set too low, you won't get it in at all. And I'm almost of the opinion that my arm is still set just a tiny bit low because I'm having too much trouble with this. I'm also trying not to destroy the view for you guys. There we go. That'll go, I think. And because it's an aftermarket arm, there's always the possibility that it's not shaped exactly the same. Whew. There we go. Now, pump it up again. Boy, this bulb sure didn't last very long. God bless it, stupid thing. So that looks pretty good. Now when you set the cover on, does it release? When you push it down, does it release? No. If you're right on the edge, you can set the diaphragm in place and it's fine. But when you put the cover on and tighten these screws down, all of a sudden it goes and just goes away. Generally, if you can look through the atmospheric vent hole and see that the diaphragm has at least a 1/16 of an inch between it and the cover, you're okay. Any closer than that and you are definitely living dangerous. Not to say you can't get away with it, because I've certainly done it. But you're getting closer to asking for trouble, and as that diaphragm ages and stiffens up a little, what worked at one point may someday no longer work. All right. Look at that. Oh, this bulb. Man, that's shot. Going to Amazon tonight. Done. Perfect. If these screws were closed when you push that down, the air has nowhere to go. So it's just going to build pressure and push back against you. First time you do that without remembering you have them closed, you'll go, huh, this is kind of weird. So there you go. If for some reason you had a bad throttle plate, super uncommon, but a broken throttle return spring here, you're going to take that screw out, pop that retainer clip off. Your throttle plate should pull right out. It's only going to go back in one way. You can see there's an indent in the throttle plate right here that lines it up, but I would strongly encourage you to make some marks so that you know which way was which and where the writing was in relation to the carb, because it can be extremely frustrating putting this back together if you've forgotten how it goes. Same thing on the choke side, except you just don't have a spring. But there is a spring, actually there's a spring and a ball underneath here that act as the detents. Actually there's no detents, but it acts as the tension on this choke, so it's not loose as a goose. So when you pull this out, eventually, those will want to come flying out. So you kind of want to put your thumb over that hole as you're pulling it out. Lastly, this is a large barb carburetor. If you were so inclined to replace this with a newer small barb, just grab a hold of that with a pair of vice grips, doop, 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 pull it right out, tap the new one in, you're ready to rock and roll. Other than that, there are no other crazinesses that I can think of on an SDC-48. This does not have an accelerator pump. That is one reason that some of these people will pull the throttle shaft out, because the accelerator pump cover is held partially in place by that throttle shaft. Anyway, that's it. All there is to it, to a Walbro SDC-48. If you're rebuilding one, I hope this video helps you. Catch you guys on the next one.